What's up everyone? So today we're going to show you guys how to tie the Carolina rig. I know there's a lot of tutorials out there already on the Carolina rig, but at the end of the video we're going to show you guys the tandem rig. So stay tuned for that. Here's everything you need. I recommend these hooks right here. These are size 6, 10, 12, and 14 owner mosquito hooks. My favorite one is the size 10 since it's like a good all-around hook that you can use on both sizes of trout worms that I have. They fit on the 2.5-inch ones and the 3-inch ones. And they also work for the salmon eggs. So we're going to use the size 10 today. This is a size 10 barrel swivel by Bass Pro Shops. You'll need that also. So basically you need a hook, a swivel, a bullet weight, and a bead. And today we're going to use 10-pound braid, but normally you want to use 2 to 4 pound test monofilament or fluorocarbon. And you also need a cutting tool. So the first step is you'll want to take your bullet weight and thread the line right through the bullet weight, the pointy end first. And this is your main line, by the way, coming off your reel and your rod tip. The next step is you want to take the bead and slide that through. Now you want to tie your swivel on with an improved clinch knot. So we'll go ahead and tie that. If you don't know how to tie the clinch knot, we'll have a link in the description below on how to tie the clinch knot. I almost always use the improved clinch knot because I think it's better, but that's a debate. So we'll cut the tag end off of that, trim that down. So now your rig looks like that. So the next step is you want to take another section of line, which is called your leader, and it's just basically another piece of line. I usually make it about 15 to 18 inches of 2 to 4 pound test monofilament or fluorocarbon. Today again we're using 10-pound test braid just to show you guys on the video. And all you want to do is tie a clinch knot to the other end of the swivel. Now all there is left to do is tie your hook on, and we're going to use another clinch knot for that. So now that you have your hook tied on, now we have to thread our trout worm on. So you want to grab the hook just like that, and what I like to do is start from the nose of the bait and just thread it as far down as you can, and then poke it out when you can't go any more, and make sure everything is nice and straight. It's a little crooked right there. So yeah, make sure it's nice and straight. All right, so here's our completed Carolina rig. We have our weight right here, which can slide. This bead is to make noise. If you want to move it around on the bottom and have it clacking around and attract the fish that way. So we have our weight, our bead, our swivel, and our leader, and our bait and hook. So this is the completed Carolina rig. Once the fish takes this, the weight tends to stay still and the fish can take off with it, which will pretty much notify you that you should set the hook. And the size 10 owner mosquito hook works very well for the 2.5-inch trout worms, which is what we use today. And this is a 3-inch version, so it works great for both. So this is what I recommend. So as promised, now we're going to show you guys how to tie the tandem rig. It's pretty much just adding another trout worm on, so you have 2 trout worms instead of 1, and we'll go ahead and show you guys that right now. For this setup, we're going to use a 3-inch trout worm and also a 2.5-inch trout worm. This 3-inch trout worm will represent the attractor, which is the bigger and more bright and flashy bait that'll attract the fish. And if they don't take this, hopefully they'll take the second smaller bait. You can also use a salmon egg or whatever smaller bait you have. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the first step is to thread your 3-inch trout worm on your first hook. Make sure it's nice and straight. So now that you have your 3-inch trout worm threaded on, we're going to add our second hook by tying this uni knot onto the shank of the first hook. And all you got to do is put it on that shank and pull, and it'll cinch down nicely. You can also remove this leader by grabbing that knot, just pinching it lightly and pulling it back. And you can also just remove it just like that. But we're gonna go ahead and put it back on. And thread our second worm. All right, so now that you have both worms tied on, this is the completed tandem rig. We have the bullet weight here, the bead, the swivel, our first worm, which is a 3-inch super floating fire color pattern trout worm, and then our second leader to our second bait, which is a 2.5-inch tadpole trout worm. So fish will most likely see the bright and flashy one first, and if they don't want that, hopefully they think about eating this and hopefully they take it. So this is the tandem rig. You can get creative and use different colors, different sizes, super floating or not super floating. You can use super floating salmon eggs on this one to make it really just float around in the water in front of their face, and hopefully they'll take that. You can get really, you can just switch it up, and there's multiple ways to fish this rig. So try out this rig and see how you guys do. I hope you guys catch a lot of fish. All right, thanks for watching, guys. If you guys like these kind of videos, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next one. All right, thanks, guys.